Today we will be fixing the boot loop error that some of our stores have experienced over the past week or two on our EBT terminals. Now your unit will look similar to this one. It should still be the VX520 here, but it will say FIS down here. It's going to be pretty much exactly the same thing you're going to experience in your store doing this on your own terminal as you're going to see in this video. So the first thing we're going to do is flip the unit over. Now we're going to remove this back panel right here. And we want to confirm that we have our cables connected correctly before we start. Now you're going to have the cable going to your pin pad, which you'll be able to tell it's the pin pad cable because it is coiled like a phone cable would be going to a headset to the phone. That's going to go in this leftmost port right here, closest to the power plug right here. Now you're going to have your internet connection coming in through an Ethernet cable here. Now this cable is going to be straight, not coiled, and it's going to vary in color. This cable you're going to want to make sure is always connected to this port here. When it's disconnected, you can see the label which says ETH right here. So once you have this cable connected, your Ethernet and your pin pad connection connected right here, as well as your power source right here, you're going to go ahead and put that back cover right back on and flip the terminal back over so we can begin. So the first thing you're going to want to do is familiarize yourself with a few different buttons. This button right here in the middle is labeled alpha, and I will be referring to it as alpha throughout this. It works in the same way when you're entering letters into this terminal as the old T9 texting worked. So you'll see that more later on. The green button down here, that's going to be used as our acknowledgement button, and OK button, enter button. I'll refer to it as one of those things throughout the video. And now we can begin. So the first thing you do, it's going to be going through this menu loop and restarting and so on. So we have F2 here and F4. You're going to hit these simultaneously and hold them down until you get into this terminal manager entry menu. If that does not immediately work, let it reboot a few times, and when you start seeing the boot up screens, hold down that F2 and F4, and eventually you will get into this menu. So now we're going to press 1 alpha alpha 66831 enter, and that's going to bring you to our next screen here. Now if you wait too long while you're entering that, it will time out and go back into the boot loop. So if that happens, just hold down F2 and F4 again and it'll get you back to that menu. So when you're in this terminal manager menu, you're going to use this button right here to go down to download, and you're going to click enter. It's going to say group ID 1, enter, and then it's going to ask for the password again. It's going to be the same one. So 1 alpha alpha 66831 enter. Now it's going to move down here, and we're going to go down to multi-app, hit enter, then under full download, hit enter, and on this screen it may say GIDS to erase 1,3. In that case, it's just going to confirm that you want to erase those twice. So down here we're going to go down one, click enter. It'll say deleting files. That might take a moment. Now in the Manager G1 menu, we're going to first hit on the far left this button to get more options, and then we're going to go down to TCP IP, and then we're going to hit enter. And now when this screen pops up, we're going to click enter again for the download menu. and then we're going to hit it again. Now, if you already have a URL on your screen, you're going to want to make sure it's SSL GTWYP1. Now, if it's existing here, it might have a D1. You're going to have to change that, and I'll show you how. So we're just going to act like there was not anything there. You're going to hit this button here to go to edit, and then that'll bring up this screen. So we're going to type in S, and now to change the number to a letter, we're going to hit that alpha button. S, L, G, T, W, Y, P, 1, period. You're going to hit the 1 button, and then alpha, 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 and it'll get you a period. And then F, N, I, S. Then a period again. C, O, M. And then we're going to hit enter. Now it's going to bring up this screen. If it already has port 8013 right here, you don't have to worry about it. But if it does not, we're just going to hit the edit button, act like there was nothing there. Then we're going to hit 8013, and then we're going to hit enter. Now it's going to bring up this menu, and it will say SSL false. We're going to click enter. And under the terminal ID, if it has something there already, confirm that it is the same number that is located down here on a label, starting normally with the letter D and then a series of numbers. What I've seen the past few days doing 11 different of these, it'll sometimes have a random number that doesn't actually correspond to that label down there. So you're going to want to change that. So you're going to hit this button for edit. And to go back, you're going to hit the yellow button at the bottom. And then, for example, we can just put in a testing number, which will be this starting with D. So let's go D, and then the numbers. Now double check that to make sure that it is corresponding what's in this box right here to the label on the front of the unit. Then you're going to hit the green button, and it'll bring up application name. You're going to hit the green button. Now it's going to get you to this screen, which is just telling you what all your settings that you just entered are. Go ahead and hit print and set this off to the side. Now we're going to hit the green button again and again, and then it's going to start the download process. From what I've seen, this takes anywhere from 11 to 15 minutes. Could take even more depending on the speed of your internet connection. So we will come back right after it has finished. Okay, we have just finished the reboot that will happen automatically after the download has finished. At this point, you should be back to where you were before you started having the issue. To do that, we're going to hit FIS EBT to get you to the FIS EBT screen. Now, it should say closed here when you do it. I'm not using a valid terminal ID, so it's showing me this error screen. But the way after you've pressed FIS EBT to make sure that it is working correctly, you're going to hit this button here, which will say log in, and you're going to hit that, and it should say closed, and just log on using your manager supplied clerk ID and password, and make sure that it's running and on its default screen. So that's about it. If you have any issues, please let me know. If you have any feedback on how I can make these videos better and more easy to understand, please let me know that as well. Appreciate your time. Thanks.